Okay. Welcome everybody to Kind
Yep.
Soup for the Soul with Kind Works. We're so happy you're with us. Is anybody new to this today? Well, anybody watching on Facebook Live, we're going to cook for our families, and then we're going to cook extra to donate to shelters or a neighbor in need or a friend or someone who is recovering from illness and needs just a little hand, a family with a new baby. So feel free to share with anybody who the Kind Soup could bring a little joy and a little relief. So happy you're with us today, and I'm really excited to share this recipe the day after Father's Day. It was a recipe that my dad cooked for us and for my kids, and we all love it. And it's become a staple in my family. Now, my dad passed away about 10 years ago, but it's still in the rotation and reminds us of him. It's a simple dish. And my dad started cooking it. My mom was the one who started, but on her 50th birthday, he asked what she wanted for her birthday. And she said, I would like to never have to cook again. So he took over a lot of the recipes and invented his own. But I have to give my mom credit for this as well. It's a simple recipe. I do want to mention that if you are going without the kielbasa is a major portion of the flavor. It gives smoke, and it also gives some fats. And it's a very simple recipe otherwise. So if you are not using that, I'm going to be making on my stovetop a version that's meatless. But I highly recommend, if you're not doing vegan, I highly recommend adding butter for flavor and something like smoked paprika. You can even add Indian spices. I've made this with fresh ginger, turmeric, that kind of thing. Because if you're not using the meat, you're going to need a more complex flavor profile and a little more fat. The other thing I want to mention is the meat is going to release a lot of salt. So do not over salt before it's cooked and you taste it. If you're doing it vegetarian, add some salt. But really, it's going to be quite salty from the meat, and I actually don't salt it more than what the kielbasa releases. I'm going to do it in the Instant Pot as well. This is an 8-quart Instant Pot. This is actually a Ninja, which also does other stuff. If you're using a 6-quart, you are not going to fit 2 pounds of beans in there. The most you can do is 1.5 pounds. And an 8-quart, you can do 2 pounds with this recipe. I also want to mention with the Instant Pots, you do not have to soak, but it makes it easier to gauge if you're overfilling your Instant Pot when you soak. So just be careful and be cognizant if you haven't soaked to add a little bit more water. So I think those are my sort of tips and tricks. So let's get our stove on with some olive oil in your pan or your Instant Pot on saute. So I'm going to do that. Any questions?
Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I just had, I thought the recipe said 3 pounds of lentils.
Oh, so, well, yes. So I'm going to do 2 in my Instant Pot and 1 on the stove.
Oh,
You're
okay.
not going to be able to make 3 in your Instant Pot. You can in a really big pot. Then just use a really big pot because they're going to.
I could use 3 pounds with a big pot.
You definitely can.
Yeah, okay.
And that's what I scaled it up to. But because I was doing an Instant Pot, I wanted to make it really clear what your limitations are so nobody had a disaster.
And then the other thing was the turkey kielbasa that I saw today. There were 2 big pieces, but it was 12 ounces in the package, not 16. So I got, more packages. I
would get more. I think it's one of the really tasty things.
I did get more. Okay.
Yep. I get the package at Costco, so that's like it's like 4 use, So
okay, thank you.
Yep.
Dominique, how much oil approximately are we looking at?
Several tablespoons. You want to coat the bottom, just like a regular saute. Can you see?
Yep. Okay.
Should I talk? Needless to say, I'm not doing kielbasa.
Yes.
And I didn't buy anything special. I'm doing what I did. We did a soup in the wintertime with sausage, and I used breakfast chicken sausages And they
Nice.
just, they just worked really well. And you put in as
Good.
many as you want. And, this is soup. Here's
I
the
would just,
mantra. Soup is forgiving.
yes, forgiving, exactly. It's our theme. What I would suggest is you add a little smoked paprika because breakfast sausage will not be smoky.
I'll taste it first. I'm not a big fan of the
Well,
smoky.
then you might be fine. It's just what I was saying, I think, before you came on, is that this is a very simple recipe and it relies on the smokiness and the fats from the
That's right.
kielbasa.
Okay.
So if you'll have fat from your chicken sausage, but you will have less flavor. So if it's bland, look, you can add like green salsa. You could add, I was saying earlier, Indian spices.
I was
You
going to
add in
probably
your
add some red pepper. We'll see how it
red
tastes.
pepper,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, like, the recipe is designed around the smoky meat. So I already gave a couple vegetarian options and I'm making a vegetarian batch. I've made this Indian with fresh ginger that you would put in while you're sauteing the onion. If you are not using sausage, you can go Indian. So I would add the garlic in a minute, and I am going to go find my lazy garlic, which is hiding.
So Dominique, I'm doing something interesting. I'm using a plant-based sausage that I've been meaning to try.
Yeah,
It's a smoked apple and sage,
Ooh, that'll add a nice
totally
flavor.
vegan, like Impossible, burger
Yeah.
type material. So it's smoky and it tastes delicious. So we'll try it and
Wonderful.
see. Could be a good
Good. And you
alternative.
can always add something later if you feel like it needs
A little
more.
pep, yeah.
Sorry, I'm looking for my garlic. I forgot to get it out.
Dominic, are you going to put vegetable stock or water?
Let's hold on just a second. Sorry?
Are you adding vegetable stock or water to the soup?
I add water when I'm using the sausage,
Yeah,
but if you're gonna use, that's for a stew. If you're gonna eat it as a soup, I would add chicken stock or vegetable stock,
okay.
just to add more flavor. I don't find that it needs it when I'm, eating it as a stew. So,
Are you adding it at the end to thin it, or are you adding
I would
it
add it at the end to,
while you put it in the Instant
it
Pot?
doesn't matter. I mean, you're gonna have a fair amount of liquid. And I would, basically, if you're doing this in an Instant Pot, you're gonna go all the way up to the fill level. And then after it cooks, you'll assess how much water it needs. If you're doing a full 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds in the Instant Pot. sure.
I'm just nervous of it getting too salty, because the last time I cooked with sausage was the Martin Luther King time when it got too salty from,
Yeah, I know, but you were using the
right.
those are
So
really
now,
salty.
I've got a little PTSD over the
No, I
sausage and the
understand.
salt.
Well, I mean, you could cook it in the Instant Pot with half the sausage and then add the rest afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Once you've gauged it. But when you're doing it in an Instant Pot, the pressure releases a lot of salt. Which is why I say do not salt it till you taste it. So I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic. I'm a lazy cook. For a salad dressing, I'll chop garlic. For fresh tomato sauce that's not cooked down, I'll do fresh garlic, but I love the Costco chopped garlic. Yep. They also have it at I use a lot of garlic. They also have it at, Indian stores, Latin American stores. Deb, you'll let us know when the gentleman who's coming to talk to us arrives. So your kitchen should be starting to smell yummy of garlic and onions frying. for my veggie one, because of flavor, I'm gonna add in just bell peppers. So again, do what you like. This is a dish that can absorb other things. I have a friend of my son's who's coming to dinner tomorrow night, so I'm saving this for tomorrow, but I'm making the vegetarian one for her because she's Muslim and won't eat the kielbasa, and I forgot to buy turkey kielbasa, so. I think you can, if you're starting to get golden, my Instant Pot is not golden yet, but my stove top is. I'm gonna go ahead and add the celery, sorry, the kielbasa if you're using it, but I'm gonna add the celery and carrots. And I like to add the sausage so that it can saute a little bit and release and kind of caramelize some of the oils in it. I'm going to add that in now.
So Dominique, did you saute the kielbasa separately?
Sorry?
Did you?
No.
No,
No,
okay.
right in the pot.
Okay, right after the onions?
I would put onions, garlic, then I would probably put the kielbasa, and then I would add in the celery and carrots once the kielbasa.
Okay.
It doesn't need to brown, but it's more just to release some of the flavor into the oil.
Sure.
So this is what my veggie one is looking like. And my Instant Pot, I've now got the sausage in. Whoops. Did I lose you? There you are. So I don't know, people who know me well, Deb knows this, I'm like an Instant Pot proselytizer. I love my Instant Pot. And it's so good for things like this because on a busy weeknight, when you Instant Pot it, it comes out like it, you know, the lentils, if you give it a good stir, are starting to break down and thicken the sauce. And that just takes longer on the stove. Not a hugely long time with lentils. But for me, it's been a game changer to be able to make a stew on a weeknight after work that tastes like it's been cooking for hours. Or to make beans from dry. I never made beans from dry until I got an Instant Pot. Because I can literally, you know, even black beans from dry, I can have something ready in a little over an hour. You know what I mean? So it's been a huge boon to me. And then there's weird things you can do, like make pasta in it, which I thought, why would you want to do that? And I don't, because I have a family of 5 and you can't make enough. But if you follow like food blogs, some of them have you cook pasta a little under and then cook the rest in the sauce because it then absorbs more of the flavor and is thickened and binds. The Instant Pot does that. It's fantastic for risotto as well. It's just not terribly well suited to what we're doing in terms of capacity because you can't make that many extra quarts.
So if you guys can just turn around and give me a thumbs up or thumbs down, how many of you have an Instant Pot? Give me a thumbs up if you have one. One, down, up, down, up. All right, we're about half and half. Okay, thank you. That helps us know whether down. Thank you, Hannah. That helps us know to stick with mostly non-Instant Pot recipes.
I'm gonna go ahead and put my, I can start to smell the kielbasa cooking. I'm gonna throw my, carrots and celery in. And then I'm gonna put my thyme. And you can do some oregano too. Not as much oregano as thyme.
Dominique,
And
can you talk for a minute about dried versus fresh? Because I made my soup yesterday, and since I had fresh thyme and oregano, I used it. But I don't know if I should have or I shouldn't have.
I think it's fine. I think it's nice to use fresh. Just dry is so convenient.
Yeah, I was thinking at some point of using the sprigs and then taking them out later. What do you think of that versus chopping it and putting it in and leaving it in?
Chop it.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm putting a little smoke into with smoked paprika into my veggie version. I'm going to put some salt and pepper. Whoops, just pepper in the sausage one, but salt and pepper in the veggie one.
I'm a little baffled. I just put in my lentils and it says add enough water to cover. Now I'm in that huge soup pot. You can see it, the big one, silver one. And I'll tell you, it's pretty close to the top. There's a lot of stuff in there.
There is. And you can always add more water if you feel like, because the lentils are going to absorb. So use your instinct on that.
Well, that's why I soaked them first, because I wanted to get them fuller.
Yeah.
I haven't added enough water yet. To add enough water to cover 2 inches, I'm going to be pretty far up there. I'll see. Let's see.
Just use your instinct. So I'm about to put my lentils in. This is the veggie. And this is the one with the kielbasa. I just have to check, because I do this from memory, that I am always nervous I will forget something. Nope, I think I have everything. Oh, I'm going to add butter in with my veggie one just for flavor, because they're not vegan, I guess, tomorrow.
If I soaked my lentils, should I drain out the water from?
No, I just throw it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's mine. You can see there's a black bean in there. I don't know how that got in there, but mine has like half an inch of water. I'm just gonna put it in.
Are we simmering covered or uncovered?
I usually do it uncovered so I can
Okay.
keep an eye on it, but I don't think it really matters.
Okay.
So anyways, here's my stovetop one. You can see it's covered with water. And now I'm going to turn the stovetop up to high to bring the water to a boil. And then once it's to a boil, I'll bring it down to a simmer. So here is my Instant Pot, and I've taken it up to the fill line. I might have even overshot it a tiny bit, but that seems to work out. And you can see I soaked these so that I knew that, you know, I'd have enough water. If you don't soak, you want to put more water because it's going to absorb. So you can see that it's, you know, you can see the stuff on the top. And now I'm going to cover my Instant Pot. So an Instant Pot is just an electric pressure cooker, but unlike a stovetop one, it has safeguards. If it's burning, it'll turn off. If it's building up too much pressure, it'll turn off, unlike a stovetop one. And I'm putting it on for 15 minutes in my Instant Pot.
Dominique,
Yes.
can you take a look? Is this too high for my Instant Pot? Do you think that's okay?
No, that's fine. I think you can
That's
even put a
fine?
little more water. Did you soak your lentils?
I did soak them. So
Oh,
here,
okay.
so maybe a
Yeah,
little,
I
should I
think-
do broth or water?
Yeah, I put a little broth in since you're going vegetarian. I
Here's
think it'll
what the
make it a little more
sausage-
flavorful.
Can you see the sausages? They look like sausage.
They do. You'll have to send me the brand if you like it. My brother's a
Okay.
vegan.
Yes, definitely. I've been dying to try it in something that, you know, seemed to be a good fit. So, okay, thank you, thank
All
you.
right.
By the way, huge storm coming through Potomac right now.
Oh, wow. Oh, I can see it's dark here, but it hasn't hit.
I got this plant-based Italian sausage.
Oh, nice. I would have a little smoke if, you know, like smoked paprika or something, if you like that, if you like smoky flavors.
I was thinking about this storm earlier because this is, of our cooking days, this is the longest day of the year of all the days we'll be cooking, right? So it should be
Right.
light for forever. And I've got my kitchen lights on because, you know, because it's so dark.
Right. My stovetop is now boiling, so I'm turning it down to a generous simmer. And I'm thinking because I soak, these will probably take another 15 minutes to cook.
So for those of us lazy people who did not soak our lentils, you said a little extra time. What do you think? 15 minutes is the soakers and
No, I would do like 18 minutes or just Google search Instant Pot lentils and it'll tell you soaked or not soaked. And that's probably more accurate than my guess.
okay.
Yeah.
How long did you set the Instant Pot to cook?
15 minutes for soaked. Oh, look, we
Okay.
have a little doggy chef. So cute. Is it a dachshund?
Yes, that is the famous Levi who likes to eat cicadas, so he shouldn't kiss me. Even though the cicadas are gone, he still sees those carcasses on the ground. I actually saw one. I saw one today. No kissing. Yes, that's Mr. Levi said he wanted to see what was going on. Right? What do you think, handsome boy?
Hi, my husband grew up with dachshunds and my sister-in-law has them still. So I'm
We had a
fond of
Doberman
them.
and a Dachshund at the same time, both black and tan. You can only imagine what that looked like. You know, a huge dog and a little pipsqueak.
So funny.
Hey, Deb, why don't you put one of your dogs on your lap?
Oh, funny. It would like knock you over.
Yep. Yes, God bless you, Mr. Levi. I heard you.
So the nice thing is, imagine if this was a weeknight. I mean, we're hanging out, but you could walk away from the Instant Pot till it was done and your dinner would be ready, or just let this simmer on your stove and go about your business. You know, so it's a nice, easy weeknight dinner. And I always make extra even for ourselves because it's even better the next day, like a lot of things.
So I'm going to interrupt everyone while you're doing what you're doing to introduce you to Ken Flemmer, who is the Executive Director of Adventist Community Services. They're on Sligo Avenue in Silver Spring. And Kay, I know you've dropped off there. I've dropped off there, and maybe some of the other people either on Cooking with Us today or on Facebook Live have dropped off there. And we wanted to invite Ken to come say hi, talk a little bit about the services that they're providing to their community, and also about their KindSoup usage and the clients who receive them. So welcome, Ken. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening, and very appropriate that it seems everybody's in their kitchen except me, huh?
Exactly.
I grew up on soup, especially Great Northern bean soup. The way the old German grandmas made it was really good. The Adventist Community Services Center has been there on Sligo Avenue since early 80s. I've told a lot of people this. Had they ever envisioned that we'd be doing as much as we're doing right now because of COVID, they would have redesigned that building in a very different way. But we're still serving at the center itself about 10,000 pounds of food every week. Just a second. Sorry for that. So we're still serving about 10,000 pounds of food every week. The numbers are down a little bit from the very peak of COVID back in May, June, July of last year, which is somewhat to be expected since a lot of our clientele are, I'll just say, out of that Langley Park, you know, along Piney Branch, those zip codes there, 20901, 20902, 3. So very, very heavy Central American clientele that has materialized since the beginning of COVID. Pre-COVID, we maybe had 15% Spanish speaking. Now it's 80, 90%. And as I shared with you, Deb, this morning in a little email, you know, light chicken soups are very popular in Central America. If you travel down there, you know, they cut the tortilla chips into, or the tortilla strips into it, and it's a lighter soup than we make chicken noodle soup. And then summer's here, and you know, cool soups are always real nice in the summer. And so we ask individuals if they'd like some soup, and tell them what kinds we have, and those that say yes, I'll take it, those are the ones we give it to. So we're serving somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 to 150 families every week at the center. Next week, Wednesday, we'll do 100 additional families at Rolling Terrace and another 100 additional families at New Hampshire Estates. They will get about 30 pounds of shelf-stable food and about 10 to 15 pounds of fresh produce. They were getting more during a lot of the COVID when these farmer to family boxes. That program started with just produce boxes, then it switched over to having dairy and meat and produce in them. And they were 30-pound boxes and tended to be highly, highly valued. In the last month, I would say, month to 6 weeks, that program has transitioned and they're moving into a new phase. In the meantime, Montgomery County gives me a small amount of money to order some additional produce every week to add to the basket. And frankly, for most of them, it's the fresh produce that they value much more than the shelf stable. They're not coming from cultures that are can oriented. So some of this is new. And we try, especially now at the New Hampshire Estates and Rolling Terrace, we'll make sure there's a bag of Maseca, you know, the cornmeal that they like. I'll usually get some tour, you know, the burrito, what do you, burrito. What the heck do we call them? I don't even remember.
Tortillas, right,
Yeah,
Ken?
the tortilla, you know, what we make burritos out of and stuff. Stick some of those in. And then we try to do, you know, the beans that they like. Black beans, pinto beans, make sure there's a good supply of that, some rice. So we try to make things a little culturally. If we're serving a lot of Ethiopians, then there's more chickpeas and things like that we put into it. Regular flour, not cornmeal. So that's kind of what we're doing. It's been a challenge. As I tell a lot of people, we're almost doing in a week what we used to do in a month. So that's, a lot of us are drained. You know, we've kind of, you can tell we're running out of steam, especially when it's hot like today. Oh my goodness. We're still not letting clients in the building. We do think that come mid-July, we will reopen our learning center and maybe do a hybrid for those that want to come. We have found it next to impossible, well, frankly, impossible to teach computer literacy classes remotely because everybody has different software and different machines. So you can't say, go to the upper right-hand corner and you'll see that, click on it, and this will happen because you don't know if they got Windows 7, 10, 8, whatever. Maybe even Vista yet. We also have found that the percentage of families that do not have internet access or hardware is shockingly high. It's almost non-existent. You know, a few families would maybe have their child's Chromebook that they could use. But again, that's something we don't have. So, you know, it's not clear how the software would be compatible. We did, through most of the pandemic, we had one advanced ESL class where they were already literate, and they were using, most of them were using their phones. But that's another thing. We found so many that even if you wanted to do, say, an ESL class using the phone, they don't have unlimited, they don't have data minutes like many of us do, or we pay a flat fee for the month. You know, they're paying minutes on the go. And that then makes it quite expensive for them to participate. But hopefully if we can have some of these students. The other thing that we've learned, and I've had to relearn it several times in the last several years, and having lived overseas several times, when you first arrive in a country, and even sometimes for quite a while, you're pretty cautious about where you go, especially at night, because you just don't know how certain things work. And we're finding that immigrants don't like to come out at night, particularly. It's just a scary time. The closer you can bring your program to, you know, and I'll use the example, Montgomery College has all kinds of exciting training that's free or virtually free that would be workforce development type. But we know that almost none of the immigrants there in the Langley Park area would go over to that part of Tacoma Park. It's just off their beaten track. They're unfamiliar with the buses. The buses don't really stop anywhere that close. They'd have to walk. You know, those kinds of things are big barriers. And anyway, that has nothing to do with cooking soup. Sorry.
Well, here's something else that has nothing to do with cooking soup. KindWorks has been refurbishing computers. So please be in touch with me. We have volunteers that refurbish computers. Anybody on this call or anybody that anybody knows or works with that has old laptops or desktops that we can make usable for your clients, Ken, we'd be happy to work with you to put some better equipment into their hands.
That is something we, I don't know if you're familiar with Difference Makers.
No.
Brian Gehring. He's at the Tacoma, he works with Tacoma Park Middle School.
Yeah.
And he's got several students that he's been working with on refurbishing computers, and we're going to give them some space at our center this summer. So
good.
These will be middle school students that have an aptitude already, and we'll just kind of supervise them and guide them a little bit.
Oh, that's great. Good.
And so, but yeah, I mean, refurbished computers is something every now and again, I have someone who will ask, you know, do you have a computer? And sometimes I have, and sometimes I don't. It's, as we often say, if we have it, we share it.
Right. And that's how we feel. So, so keep me in the back of your mind so that when those middle school students' computers are no longer available, or you need too many, give me a shout and let's see what we can do. And anybody on the call who has, please be in touch if you want to donate computers for us to refurbish. And then Ken, just getting back to soups for a minute. I know that you don't have much time tonight, but other than a light chicken broth or cold soups, do you want us to take Adventist off our list of people who want to of organizations that want to receive food, or how do you want to handle that?
No, I don't want to do that. I mean,
okay.
There's also the homeless, the men's shelter that's there at Long Branch. We do get a few homeless, you know, and it's the kind of thing you could heat them up a cup of soup at least.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want the soups, that's great. Somebody had heard when they dropped off soups that, you know, for the summer, soups weren't popular, but you would like to receive soups and you'll put them to good use wherever.
We'll continue to take some.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Ken,
anybody else have questions?
Yeah, I was just going to ask Ken, could you put your email in? I'd like to follow up with you with an email. Is there any way?
Deb has it. Deb has it. We've been emailing.
Oh, okay.
No problem.
Deb, I might want to get that from you. Okay. That'd be great.
No problem.
I'll put that in the chat.
All right. Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else?
Ken, you guys are probably aware of, there's a new program for low cost or free internet that Montgomery County is. Okay, so you've passed that information along.
Yeah.
Good. That sounds like it could help a lot of families.
And you know, I'm a networker, so I like, you know, to share information, you know, and particularly when they come and ask about computer classes. You know, I mean, that's a group that would definitely be interested.
The other question I had, one of our volunteers that also works with Harvest Share has been bringing some produce over, and I don't know, we were in touch with Ed, and I'm not sure if it's Ed or you or who we're supposed to communicate with when we've got this last minute car full of greens that needs to go somewhere quickly.
Was that today?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And you'd left some things somebody had left some things at the back door as well. Was that also you, Cheryl?
Someone else, not me, but somebody else named Cheryl did.
Okay. Oh yeah. Since this combo box program has wound down and hasn't kind of come back to life yet, again in a new form, fresh produce is highly valued. I mean, we do quite a bit of food rescue. We have 3 giant supermarkets that we visit almost every single day and they'll give us the bread, the meat, the cheese, whatever it is that they're pulling off the shelves that the supplier, the wholesaler doesn't want back. You know, you never get Little Debbie stuff. They have a whole different system. It'll be Frito chips, it'll be salad dressing, it'll be steaks. They had T-bone steaks the other day. My volunteers ate well at lunch that day. So yes, the produce is highly valued.
I'll be in touch with you separately through Harvest Share. We're setting up our food assistance provider partners and we need to work out logistics of timing and places.
And
So
the co-op as well is another place there in Tacoma Park that often calls us to come and get. Joyce Siemens, Councilman Terry Siemens in Tacoma Park, his wife actually runs my pantry. And she's always there early in the morning till about 2, 3 at the latest. And then she's out of there. And then usually Ed or I are around to take donations.
what was her name?
Joyce Siemens.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions?
I just put that in the chat.
Okay. Anyway, ladies, thanks so much.
All right.
Or I'm not sure if this is all ladies. I can't
Thanks
see
for all
it.
you do. Today it's ladies, but we welcome you to join us anytime. We'll make that great northern bean soup that you love.
Hey, you brown the flour just before you serve it and mix it in. And it gives it that.
Oh, don't give away the secrets now. Save it till we cook together.
That gives it that nice.
All right, Ken, thank you for all you do.
taste. Take care. Thanks so much for all
All
you
right,
do.
take care.
Appreciate it. Appreciate
You
it.
too.
How's everybody doing? My stovetop are almost there. They're not quite tender enough, but you can see it's cooked down. Since I'm doing mine vegan, I felt like it needed a little more, and I added this and a little bit of salsa. This is Trader Joe's Citrusy garlic seasoning. My son got it, and he's been grilling with it, and it's delicious, and it adds a nice little kick.
Oh.
So just season to taste. But for the one that you're cooking with sausage, wait till it has really cooked down, and then you'll know how salty and how much flavor it's imparted. But like, if you're not cooking with kielbasa and doing like the 4 U's of meat, like that imparts a lot of flavor. If you're using less meat, you're going to need to add the flavor in with some other kind of fat like butter, maybe some other spices that you like. Who's cooking with kielbasa actually today?
I think I am. Let's see. Yeah.
Yep.
Polska kielbasa.
Yep.
I'm doing 2 recipes with kielbasa and 1 with veggie.
Oh, great. Well, I'll be interested to do the feedback, and I hope I got my proportions pretty well because I had to kind of, guess. Since I just do it, I don't.
Well, I have my Instant Pot on. I was a little distracted. I don't know if I put all the ingredients in, but let's hope I did.
There you go. I serve this over rice, and I serve it over brown rice. So I have a little baby Instant Pot that I make my brown rice in. It's like a rice cooker. But again, if you want to make it soupy and not have it over rice, you just add some broth.
For those who don't have an Instant Pot but have been curious, today and tomorrow it's Amazon Prime Day. They're on sale.
And if you do end up buying one, there's great Facebook groups that have lots of recipes. That's where I got a lot of my inspiration. If you go to my Facebook page and search Instant Pot, you'll get some that I've really liked.
And on Amazon, you can designate KindWorks as your recipient for Amazon Smile contributions.
Thank you, Holly.
You're welcome.
So listen to the ingredients on the soup we're making next week, you guys. Listen to this. So coconut oil or olive oil, onions, garlic, a large piece of ginger, curry powder, crushed red pepper flakes, red lentils, crushed tomatoes, fresh cilantro, pepper, salt, and unsweetened coconut milk. This is Yodam Olatengi's curried lentil, tomato, and coconut soup. And it's going to be delicious. So that's my preview. I hope you all join us.
How about the week after? Why don't you talk about that?
And the week after that, we're going to be doing Marge, right? Is that our gazpacho?
The 11th that week. Maybe that's 2
Yeah,
weeks.
maybe that's in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, the 12th, whatever that week is. So it's 2 weeks. I don't know what the in-between soup is.
Yes. Let me tell you, I had to interrupt because Deb was so good to share some of the soup.
This was last week's soup. I gave Carol Trewick
It
some.
was phenomenal.
There we go.
So if you are working to do this, ladies, I don't know, I said your wonderful name of your organization is so simple, yet it's so expansive. You can do anything, and you're cooking. Wow.
Aw,
Carol,
Thanks
thanks
for
so much
sharing.
for supporting us. That's great.
Oh, God bless you.
aw.
God bless you.
Well, that was great because I wasn't sure how the soup turned out. Nobody in my house
Now
liked
you know.
it.
That was 2 thumbs up on that one. I'm shushing her and she's going, no, I want to talk to them.
Deb, you should make that tomato watermelon gazpacho for one of these.
Oh, that's the one that Marge and I are making for everybody in 2 weeks.
Oh, good. It is
Right,
on the
Marge?
thing. Good.
Yeah.
Deb, since Carol just made a guest appearance, maybe you can explain to everybody how the Trewick organization and Carol supports us. on
So
our
yeah,
mission.
the Trewick Foundation is amazing. They do so much in the community with nonprofits and on their own. In a million different ways they help out. But one thing that they do is to help emerging nonprofits, they grant office space for a limited amount of time and with mentoring as well. And it's an incredible service to emerging nonprofits. So we're lucky and we're a part of things at this point, and they're terrific.
And Deb is sitting in that office right
and
now.
I'm sitting in this office, yeah. Everybody doing well?
Yeah, my
quiet
Instant
crowd today.
Pot is at
Dominique, you're
pressure,
keeping
but
it cooking.
my Instant Pot's at pressure, but has another 14 minutes to go. So I won't have that to show you while we're still on our Zoom. How
Dominique,
is everybody else's stovetop going?
I have a quick, on the Instant Pot, if we run out of time, do we do quick release or?
I usually do, but I don't sweat it. Like if I'm in the middle of something and you leave it for a little bit, that's fine. So did you look up the time for unsoaked?
Well, it said soaked was 10 minutes. And I don't know. I decided to I think I put like 16 on. I'm not sure.
That's fine. Maybe you leave it for another couple minutes before you release the pressure. And the worst that happens, it's not quite done and you put a little more liquid in and you put it back on for a minute, you know?
Out of the Instant Pot though, do you usually add some more broth, or does it come out really thick?
It comes out very much like a stew.
A stew.
With the Instant Pot.
Okay.
And so often for dinner the first night when I make it, I always cook for more than one night. So here, since I'm donating, I won't, but the first night I serve it usually right out of the Instant Pot, but then when I put it in the fridge, it'll thicken some more. And then I always add water when I reheat it.
Perfect. Okay, thanks.
So I'm curious to hear everybody's turned out with different meats and stuff and what spices you liked. Ooh, that looks so nice, Teresa.
Yeah. Oh, I'm having a hard time directing but one is the veggie and the other one is the kielbasa.
Good. Are they starting to get tender?
Yeah, they are.
Good. You might find, because you're cooking it on the stove, I think the pressure of the Instant Pot leaches out more of the salt. So I'm curious if it's salty enough or if you'll want to add salt because it doesn't leach as much.
I already added some salt.
Okay. So I think when it's not under pressure, you don't get as much salt out of the sausage.
Yeah.
I think
I think doing it on the stovetop's just a little bit longer, it
Yeah.
just takes longer for everything to come to a boil and simmer and everything. It's such a
Yes.
big pot.
Yeah.
So
So Kay, something we learned before that I forgot when I was cooking my soup yesterday was when you add the broth, or in this case, the water, if you add it boiling, it takes much less time for that soup to come up to a boil.
Oh, okay.
So I suffered with what you went
Okay.
through, I did yesterday, but remember, if you can, to try to heat up your water or your broth when you add it. and
Thank
that
you.
cuts
I
down the
appreciate
time.
that. Thank you.
Yeah. so-
Yeah, the Instant Pot's taking quite a while to get
Up to pressure.
temperature because it's filled to the brim and
Yeah.
not the brim, to the fill line.
Right.
It's,
If you
it's
fill it
got-
to the brim, it'll never come up to pressure.
well, it'll probably start telling me like too much is in there and
Right.
yeah.
They're very smart. It's interesting. I read that Instant Pots are getting a lot of young Indians to cook their grandmother's recipes because a lot of them had grown up with their grandmother with the pressure cooker on the stove, and they were kind of scared of it because, you know, they'd be the ones, you know, counting the whistles or whatever. I don't use one, so I don't really know, but that, you know, a lot of Indian food, you know, requires a lot of attention, but the Instant Pot is like one of the authors, she's the butter chicken lady. She also has like a cookbook, said that it's great because she's getting so many young Indians cooking Indian food that they never cooked until the Instant Pot made it more doable for them with their busy work lives and stuff. So
I just remembered I had wanted to mention something for people who drop off at Here to Help at Bethesda Presbyterian. I know that there's been some concern about like the cooler out there and maybe, you know, it's getting filled up, which of course is great that it's getting filled up, but not if it's overflowing and it's 95 degrees out. So just so you know, somebody is there on Sunday from about, I think they're there from 9 to noon, and then from 10 to 1, and then from 2 o'clock on as they have the volunteers come and take the bags. So I think some people have been dropping off in the 1 to 2 range, and that happens to be when they're not right there, but they're coming and going, and they do come out and check. And they're going to check more often and possibly try and get another cooler out there. It's just that from week to week, sometimes they get so little and sometimes they get just so much. So yeah, they're happy, but they're happy to get it, and they certainly are on top of it, even though it may not look like that when you're dropping off. I don't know if Joyce, I don't see you in the picture right now, but I think you might have had some concerns last week. But I think that they should be good.
Okay, thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate that because I was a little concerned.
Yeah, no, I know. They know.
Okay,
I had been there just like about an hour before you with some produce, and the soups were again not overflowing, but they were filled and you know, brought it all in and started fresh.
okay. Thanks. Glad you explained.
Levi's friend Rita said she needed to come up and have a little FaceTime with you. So there's her FaceTime. Now I will go get washed. Friend of Levi.
here, I'll show you Jimmy. Jimmy's sitting at my feet. That's Jimmy. Can you see him? He's very black.
He is black. Oh, I saw a tongue.
No.
Is he black? What is he? He's cute.
He's a Portuguese water dog.
Oh yeah, they're nice.
Oh.
They're really nice.
He loves all food, so he gets little scraps, the ends of this. He doesn't like celery. It's one of the only things he doesn't like, but carrots.
Levi had celery today. He didn't complain.
Well, better eater than Jimmy.
Well, you know what? It's a chaser for those damn cicadas.
Yes. Fortunately, he has not been interested in them, but he's a little afraid of bugs. Crickets will like make him jump, and if he comes across them in the grass. So I think that saved us from the gorging on crickets, because he's such a food-oriented dog.
Yeah, Levi's like that. And he's so small that it's amazing to me that he can pack it all away.
Deb, do your dogs like cicadas?
It's gross. It's just gross.
My dogs have not met anything that they won't eat, and I really mean pretty much anything. That, Marge Klein, is gross. All right, I just put in the chat, you all, that Ken emailed to say he forgot to mention that they also, in addition to everything he told us, give away 10,000 diapers each week.
Wow.
So they are keeping those 3 zip codes going. It's incredible. So thank you for supporting them. Thank you for supporting all the food assistance providers and for joining us in cooking. It's so much fun and delicious.
All right, I'd love to hear how it goes. I hope you like it as much as my family loves it.
Thank you, Dominique. This was fantastic.
Anybody who's on Facebook, go to the webpage and let us know how it came out. I'd really love to have a conversation, you know, if it's on Facebook, but wherever, to hear what you liked or didn't like about it, you know, so we learned some.
And the products, like especially meatless and turkey based, you know what I mean? It's nice, like what gave a good flavor, because that could be good for this recipe or other recipes when we want to sub out.
How many of you actually like use Facebook? Thumbs up or down?
Nope, 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 nope.